head between my knees. I thought my head was being split open. The pain was unbearable. I had no idea what time it was, but it was eerily quiet, except for my quiet sobs and heavy breathing.
Luke, what's wrong?
My mom was at my side soothingly, rubbing my back. It's happening again. The pain in my head, it's so bad, Mom. And my eyes, I feel like they're on fire. I can't take it. My mom said something, but her voice sounded so far away, like I was trapped underwater. I already knew this part. It was what happened right before I passed out. My name is Luke Barrett. My parents told me I was born blind, but they never told me the story behind it. Here's that story now. Trust me, you do not want to miss this. I grew up pretty much alone. Apart from my parents, I had no one else to spend time or play with. I was turning 18 soon, and I hadn't even had my first kiss. Before you start to feel sorry for me, my childhood was great. You see, I was a special child. I know that's what every parent says about their child, but in my case, it was true. I took my first step when I was 5 months old, and I could read and write by my first birthday. My parents were afraid I would get bullied at school, so they never enrolled me. My dad was a scientist at a research facility called X-Tech. My mom was a teacher, so homeschooling me was really easy. I made up for my lack of a social life by learning to play musical instruments, getting college degrees, and spending time with my dad at X-Tech. I was planning to eventually join him full-time. I never let my blindness get in my way, but I always wondered what I was missing. I often imagined my mom's smile, the color of her eyes. Sometimes I asked her to describe things for me. The color of a rainy day, the color of the ocean when we went to the beach. She'd start to talk, but then she'd cry. I often wondered why.
Luke, my name is Dr. Fielding. I don't know if you remember me, but I work with your dad. How are you feeling?
I could hear machines beeping. Something was pricking my arm. I went to remove it, but Dr. Fielding told me that there was a tube attached to my arm. What's all this? Where are my parents?
They're right outside. I'll get them for you.
When my parents came in, the doctor, well, she was an ophthalmologist, but let's just call her doctor because ophthalmologist is quite a mouthful. Anyway, she said that my constant headaches were being caused by light sensitivity. What does this mean? I never had headaches until a few weeks ago.
I really don't know what all this means. For now, just avoid direct sunlight, and if you have to go out, you have to put on these special glasses.
She fit them over my eyes and left. I bet I looked really cool wearing them, like a secret agent. My new glasses worked wonders. My headaches were gone, and I no longer woke up in the middle of the night sweaty and in agony. My life was back to normal. Well, my normal at least. One evening, my dad came home and announced that he'd quit his job. He said that he was working on something that was going to make him loads of money. Wow, Dad, what is it?
I can't tell you yet. You'll have to wait and see.
Haha, you think you're funny.
I couldn't help myself. Tell you what, I'll let you be my assistant. What do you say?
Yeah, when do we start? Wait, where will we work from? He told me that he'd be working from our house. In the next few weeks, he turned our garage into a fully equipped science lab. It was really cool. We spent all day and sometimes night in there. I still didn't know what he was working on. All he said was that he'd be finished soon. Then we'd become super rich, and also that my life would change forever. One night while working in the lab, my normally dark world went bright. So bright that I dropped a glass jar and fell to my knees.
Luke, are you all right?
Please turn it off. The light is burning my eyes. My dad lifted me off the floor and placed me on a sofa.
Daniel, what's all that noise? Oh my God, Luke!
My mom rushed to my side.
It's happening. It's working. Call Dr. Fielding. Tell her we're on our way.
Dad, what's going on? He didn't answer me. Instead, he placed something ice cold on my eyes and wrapped a cloth around my head. He placed another cloth on my nose. The last thing on my mind before I passed out was my dad had drugged me. When I woke up, my eyes were still tightly wrapped. I could hear voices in the distance.
Dr. Fielding, I'm here about Luke Barrett. Is it true that he can see again?
Hello, Mr. Xavier. Luke's dad, Daniel, has been working on some kind of miracle drug. He started testing it on Luke a few weeks ago. He put it in his drinking water.
I lay very still.
How is he now?
He was unconscious and heavily drugged when they brought him in 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? I've been here, wherever here is, for 2 weeks? Why would my dad drug me?
I ran some tests, and that's when I called you.
Are you sure your findings are accurate?
100% sure. The boy is no longer blind. I haven't told his parents yet. Wanted you to hear it first. What do you plan to do with him? With his parents?
You're not getting paid to ask questions. All you need to know is that we're taking him tonight. He belongs to X-Tech. I only let them take him because he was blind and not very useful to me. This changes everything. Dr. Fielding, hello. Any update on Xavier? What are you doing here? You have no business coming near my son.
My dad had just walked in.
I'm here because of your son's illness. We still care about him. After all, we were the ones who— That was a long time ago. We don't need you anymore. We'll see about that.
The door banged, then silence followed. Dad?
Oh God, Luke, you're awake. I'm so sorry I did this. I thought the drug would work for sure.
Who was that man? My dad came to my bed and removed the bandages from my eyes.
Open your eyes, Luke.
When I opened my eyes, all the brightness in the room burned my eyes. I blinked rapidly and tried to focus, but soon tears filled my eyes. I'm sorry, I can't. It hurts.
Take your time, Luke. Tell us what you see.
I tried again. This time I saw dark shapes that swam in a sea of brightness. I reached my hand out to touch one of the dark shapes closest to me.
You can see me? Daniel, you did it! Our baby can see! You need to get out of here. Xavier is planning to take Luke away from you.
Dad, we can't trust her. She could be leading us into a trap. I heard that Xavier man say he's paying her. He said I belong to X-Tech. What was he talking about?
You don't have to trust me, but please get Luke and go. I've brought you some medications for his eyes. He should be able to see clearly in a couple of days.
As Dr. Fielding let us out, a loud alarm went off.
Keep going, I'm right behind you.
My mom took my hand and ran. When we got to our car, we realized that Dad and Dr. Fielding were not with us.
The doors must have shut before they could get out. We have to go, Luke.
I was worried about Dad. Would Xavier kill him? Who was Xavier? We can't leave him. Mom, what's going on?
We don't have a choice, Luke. I'll explain everything, but first, we need to go, now.
Mom half lifted, half shoved me into the car, then drove off.
Luke, there are things you need to know. Once we're a safe distance away from here, I'll tell you everything, I promise.
I couldn't answer her. I was already falling asleep. I was woken up by a sharp pain in my arm. I tried to pull away, but Mom told me to hold still. Mom, what are you doing to my arm? That hurts.
You have a tracking device in your arm, Luke. You've had it all your life. It was part of the deal. I've removed it now. Once I'm done bandaging you, we'll get back on the road.
We were sitting in Mom's car parked in a deserted parking lot. I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what is going on. I've had enough pricking and prodding. You and Dad are treating me like a lab rat. I had a million questions, but Mom was done talking. She gave me some water to drink. I fell asleep immediately.
Luke, honey, wake up. Dinner's ready. You must be starving.
I was lying in something warm and soft. When I opened my eyes, I sat up immediately. I could see much more clearly. I could see my mom. Mom, you're tall. Tears streamed down her face and she hugged me and laughed.
Do you want to see what you look like?
Sure, but first I need to know what's going on. What she told me changed my life forever.
About 20 years ago, I found out I couldn't have children. I was devastated. I tried everything, clinics, herbs, nutrition, name it. But nothing seemed to work. I'd given up all hope when I got a call from someone who claimed he could help me. It was Xavier.
During the call, Xavier told her to visit his facility, X Technologies. He introduced her to a team of scientists who he claimed would help her, free of charge. Among them was a young intern she later got to know as Daniel. After she signed some papers, she was given some pills that put her in a deep sleep for days. When she woke up, she was pregnant with me. She couldn't believe it. She was overjoyed. However, when she asked to go home, she was not allowed to leave because they needed to observe her closely. It was during her stay there that she and Daniel fell in love, and he told her the truth about Xavier and his facility. He told her that X-Tech was never going to let her keep the baby. After she gave birth, they'd take the baby away and sell it. He told her that the only way they'd let her keep the baby is if the baby was not perfect when it was born.
That's when we made the hardest decision of our lives.
Mom, what did you do?
We blinded you, Luke. Your dad, Daniel. He gave me some pills he stole from the lab. He told me to put them in my drinking water. I took the pills for months. Those pills made you blind before you were born. When it was time for you to be born, Xavier told me that you belonged to X-Tech. He had a buyer waiting.
I was going to be sick. I'd asked for the truth, but now that it was here, I wasn't sure I wanted to hear it.
Xavier took you away immediately. I never even got to hold you. I cried and begged, but nobody listened.
Tears were streaming down both our faces. Mom was holding my hand so tightly. Mom continued with her horror story.
When Xavier took you away, he asked Daniel to get you ready for his clients who were eager to meet you.
A few days later, Xavier wrote a check to my mom and told her to leave the facility immediately. Daniel quit his job and left with her, and they got married. Months later, Daniel got a call from someone at X-Tech. It was Dr. Fielding. She told him that I'd been returned to the facility and Xavier was planning to terminate me.
We rushed to X-Tech and begged Xavier to let us take you home with us. He told us that his clients had found out I was blind. He was so angry.
Xavier agreed to let Mom and Daniel take me home on condition that she pay back the money he gave her.
That was an easy decision. I still had the money.
If you paid him back, why is he after me now?
Xavier's an evil man. He heard you were admitted at X-Tech and got Dr. Fielding to tell him the truth. He's demanding I hand him over my miracle drug and all my research.
Dad, you're here. How did you get out? My dad looked nothing close to what I'd imagined him to look like. I always pictured a tall, wiry man with framed glasses. It was how scientists were described in movies. The man standing in front of me was what I imagined giants look like. I always wondered how you could lift me so easily. Now I see why. He dropped to his knees and sobbed. My mom ran to him and hugged him.
He can see clearly, Daniel. It happened when we got here.
After several minutes of tears and laughter,